Okay.
Where was that actually? One, two, module two, yes. So we are following this link. I have already shared this link with you, and here we are going to do a quick recap related to network scanning. And this is not shared. Share in chat this link. So this is about footprinting that we already covered and using different methodologies. And then we started network scanning. So in network scanning and in footprinting. So these are pre-attack phase, and we're actually collecting more information about our target. In network scanning, the main objective is to discover live hosts and open ports and to discover the operating system and their architecture. So we have a live website here. So we use JANMAP, which you can actually download in your Windows PC, or if you want, like you can use your Kali Linux operating system where you already have pre-installed either Parrot Security or Kali Linux, Parrot Security or Kali. So we are going to scan this website, which is certifiedhacker.com, and we are going to we can use different options. So today, before we start this, I wanted to show you some here, like profiles. So for example, here you have different profiles that are already there. But if you want, you can create your own profile, like go to profile, then new profile or command. Then you are going to actually name your profile. Like you can type anything, like maybe like whatever is the name of your profile. So usually you will get some templates, ready-made templates like ping. So if you want to do host discovery, so there is a different option that you can choose, and if you click on the acknowledgement ping option, so this will be already added. So right now, if I don't have any command, for example, and this one, if I uncheck, it is gone. So nmap, and simply you can search, or if you want like ICMP ping, so this option will pop up. And if you want this times acknowledgement ping or like a sync ping, so these all different things will pop up. So in network scanning, first we have to understand that what is three-way handshake. So three-way handshake will be uh, not there, but I will show you. So three-way handshake in network scanning, I think you're already familiar. So TCP connection will happen after three-way handshake. This is just to get the idea, and later I will use using Wireshark, I will give you a demonstration in the background. If we start those required labs, for example, I need virtual box, and there I will run two different operating systems. One will be Metasploitable, and this will be the lab environment. Actually, one will be Metasploitable, and I will be using host only adapter. It's like an internal network, and I will start this machine. And Kali Linux also, I will use the same adapter host only. That is the internal network I'm creating actually for the lab environment host only. And the adapter is number 3. Same network for both. So now I will try to draw and show you the scenario. So we have two machines now, like one is Kali Linux and one is Metasploitable. So this one is Kali, for example, and there will be some IP address, and this is Metasploitable. Both of them are in the same network. So the private IP range will be same, like 190 to 168, something like that. We need to check actually 192 dot whatever. Like first, let the machine boot up, and then I will be able to actually show. For that, let me quickly check the IP address if possible. No, it is booting up at the moment. So later on, I will show you the IP. So when two machines talk to each other, or maybe like you want to send some data, so for that, like there is a protocol like TCP protocol and UDP. Transmission control protocol is usually like when we transfer any data, which is not UDP protocol, user datagram protocol. So in UDP, it is actually connectionless, and during live streaming, UDP protocol is used actually, and also for voice over IP. So if I directly open now Wireshark, you will see a lot of UDP traffic transmitting Wireshark. So we'll understand the concept behind the network scanning. So if I start in this network where both of us are connected via Zoom, and we are in this meeting. So if I need to, if I open Wireshark, you will see a lot of UDP protocol and TLS for encryption, TLS, and some TCP protocol as well. So if I stop the capture right now, and these are different packets or network activity that is happening behind. Usually you can see one TCP. So in TCP, you are seeing some acknowledgement. So acknowledgement, again, TCP acknowledgement. So that is a different port. You can see port 443 to port 4024, and source IP. This is the address, and the destination is this. Then we can see this is the transmission control protocol with source 443, destination port is, acknowledgement number, and length. So you can check the packet and see there is a acknowledgement number, sequence. This is sequence. So actually, each packet that will pass from one end to another end is having some sequence number and some kind of a that it can monitor. So if I need to send some data from one end to another device, the data will actually become fragmented, and it will again get reassembled. But this data, there will be some order. Like if I need to send some data, then it will be like, for example, one packet. Maybe like this is the data. So it will be actually divided into small parts, and then it will have some numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, so that it knows like later on when it's received, go to the receiver's end again, according to the number it will get reassembled, and you will see the piece of information data. And in TCP protocol, the data is not get lost. Actually, it is reliable. It has a mechanism of checking. But UDP protocol, the protocol of UDP that you are seeing here, it is connectionless, and TCP is connection oriented. That is why before transmitting the data, there is actually a three-way handshake. So one acknowledgement will go to the receiver, and receiver will say acknowledgement and synchronization packet, and then one acknowledgement packet will be sent. So this is three-way transmission handshake. So after three-way handshake only, the connection or data, sorry, this one is this. After this, actually, the transmission will start. So first is like synchronization packet. Sync is here you are seeing acknowledgement. This one is like in the background is acknowledgement. I will show you. But in UDP, the data is not reliable. And sometimes if you can see that if I'm talking, I might be talking very fast because the data suddenly it comes to your PC, or sometimes the connection get interrupted. So UDP is unreliable and there is no like a check. So this is the packet that you are seeing, UDP packet. And I will also show you in a nice, diagram. So UDP, you can see is the port and checksum unverified, and there is some payload and the data actually. So this is how data will transfer via two different protocol. And the three-way handshake will be like this. So in TCP communication, three-way handshake will be like this, but let's check a proper diagram. Yeah, so this one. So for example, we want to connect via TCP. So I will say, hi, Mr. Wayne, are you available? You will say, yeah, I'm available at port 21. Maybe like we want to send via FTP, file transmission protocol. So I will send a acknowledgement synchronization packet, and then you will send a synchronization acknowledgement packet that you acknowledge that you received my connection request. And then I will also send an acknowledgement finally that I have received your acknowledgement that you are ready to connect. So this is like, hi, PC2, are you available at port 21? Then PC2 will say, yes, PC1, I'm available at this port. Let's connect. This is my acknowledgement. And then PC1 will say, yes, I received your acknowledgement, PC2. Let's start the communication. So this is actually the TCP session establishment. Three-way handshake will happen. And then the data transmission will happen. After data is transmitted, then there will be a reset, actually. It will reset the connection and a finish flag will be sent, fin flag. So there are different flags in TCP communication like sync for synchronization, act, act flag for acknowledgement, then we have a fin for finish, RCT is for reset, and then we have one more like urgent flag. So if there is a urgent flag, that is a different thing actually. So if the data is in urgent flag, so whatever data, it will be processed immediately during that transmission. So this is the main concept behind the three-way handshake that I was talking about. Then let's see it live happening actually. So now if I need to scan this particular machine, and there is an inbuilt functionality in Nmap actually. So if this PC I want to scan, this is some machine, and then I have another machine, which is maybe this Kali Linux attacker machine, and this wants to scan. In order to understand the actual scan, how it is happening and how Nmap is able to determine whether some port is available or not, we are going to actually do this practical, and you can also try first let it boot up. Then I will open a terminal, and also I need Wireshark. So I don't know, it is little slow today. I tried to open. So it's all good. Here I will find the IP address. So let's MS admin is the username, and the password is also NSF admin. see that this is the IP address. Okay, close the Wireshark from here. So yeah, Janmat, I was talking about profile. So that we are going to again come next actually. So we are going to use the graphical user interface Nmat, but I don't know why it is lagging. Started. So as you can see, this is the IP address of this particular machine, Linux machine 192.168.57.4. So I'm going to use Nmap, and in Kali Linux, I'm going to actually scan this machine and specifically look for one IP. Maybe like that specifically port, for example, HTTP port for port 80 for HTTP or port 21 for FTP. So if I have to find that, then Nmap is having two different functionality actually. So if you go to the scanning part, the Nmap is having two different functionality. One is like a scanning techniques. So here you can see that Nmap is having the hyphen small s capital S or lowercase small s capital S, which is TCP sync scan. So it is going to send a synchronization packet, and it is going to actually reset the connection once it's received the acknowledgement. So it is like a half open scan. And ST is another option with Nmap. So Nmap space hyphen lowercase s and uppercase T. And when you scan, it is actually connect scan. So it is the full connect scan, which is where it will let the three-way handshake, TCP three-way handshake. It will let it happen actually, three-way handshake. But here it will become a half open scan because before, like Nmap will send the acknowledgement packet, and then the victim machine will respond with a synchronization and acknowledgement packet. And then to establish the three-way connection, the Nmap was supposed to send a synchronization and acknowledgement. Oh, sorry, acknowledgement packet that we saw in that diagram. But instead of acknowledgement, the Nmap will actually won't respond anything. But after determining that the victim machine sends something, so it will reset the connection. I will tell you again with try to explain with the diagram. So that is the two difference. Like one is a TCP full connect scan, which is ST, and SS, which is a half open scan. So now using Wireshark, we are going to actually determine the open port of this machine, and we are going to understand this actually and observe the packets. For that, we need a terminal. In Kali Linux, here I have a Nmap, which is already installed. In Nmap, you will be able to see the same that I show you in my Windows command prompt Nmap. So in here you can see these are the scanning techniques, and I have the SS option, which is TCP sync scan, which is a half open scan, and ST is like a full connect scan. That is actually three-way handshake will be happening here. So this is the three-way handshake again, and for example, this one. So if the client wants to send something to the server, so the client will first say, "Hi, are you available at this port 21?" So that is the synchronization packet. And we are going to observe this actually three-way handshake by using the Nmap. So in Nmap, I have given you this one, which is connect scan. So for connect scan, we have this TCP ST option. So if you type ST and scan a particular machine, and if you want all the ports or if you want a specific port that you can mention here. So here you can see hyphen small p, and if you want a specific port like port 22, you can. Otherwise, you can scan the entire port range, like from 1 to 65,535. There are this many ports actually, and there are top ports also, well-known ports that are used by known services like FTP, HTTP, SSH, Telnet, and all that. So that is up to you. But in order to understand network scanning, we are going to simplify this, and specifically we are going to scan a particular port with the P option. And this time we are going to scan 21, which is FTP port. And then we are going to use the half open and full open, full connect scan, TCP ST and SS. SS is TCP sync scan and ST is TCP connect scan. So what is connect scan? So this is the connect scan actually. So Nmap, Nmap is having that functionality of establishing a three-way handshake, and that is connect scan. And usually, as I said earlier, that whenever we establish a connection between two devices using TCP protocol, there is a three-way handshake. Once the three-way handshake is done, then the connection is established, that you can see here in green color. And then data communication or data exchange will happen. And once it is done, there will be a reset and finish flag will be sent, fin flag. So now how the three-way handshake is like working. First is like this machine will say, hi, are you available at this port? That is the synchronization flag will be sent to the server. Then server will respond, yes, I'm available at port 21. Let's connect. So that will be a sync and acknowledgement. So sync is like sending the synchronization packet to the client, and an acknowledgement that it received the earlier synchronization that was sent by the client. So that is a sync act. And again, now in the half open scan, the client will actually reset the connection, and instead of giving an acknowledgement that uh, that the server sent this, that the server is open, so now the client will not even do the acknowledgement. So that is the Nmaps half open scan, and that is half open scan or sync scan. But if you have to do the TCP full connect scan, then Nmap will actually sync and get the sync act reply. That is how actually it will determine whether the port is open or closed. And then the client will actually again acknowledge that, yeah, I received your synchronization and acknowledgement that you said that your port 21 is open and you want to connect. So that will be an acknowledgement sent by in a usual TCP connection. And after this three-way handshake, the real connection starts. But the Nmap, that is a stealth, but this is not stealth actually, but it's nowadays called half open scan or TCP sync scan. That means a three-way handshake will not happen after determining whatever server responded with sync acknowledgement that the port is open. So once Nmap finds that port is open, then it will reset the connection instead of sending the acknowledgement packet. So now this thing we are going to do it practically and try to understand and also capture the traffic using Kali Linux. So these two options we are going to use, SS and ST. In the background, we are going to again open Wireshark here and try to capture this. Yes, so we are going to start with ETH0, which is the interface, my interface. So if I have to show you IPA, so we'll see this is my ETH0 interface, and this is my public private IP address of this machine. So we have used the host only adapter. So this is 57.21 ETH0. And also, if we need to determine the victim or my target's IP address, you will see that this is 192.168.57.4. So it's in the same subnet, 57, and this is the host part. Like from 1 to 255, we have different 256. We can have different IP address starting from 0. Then 1 is the default gateway actually, and you can see here it is 21, and this is 4. But in Nmap, we have a host discovery option. So host discovery is, if you remember here, the main objective of network scanning is to discover live host and then IP address. So once we discover the live host, we will find the IP address as well, and then we will do the open ports, and we will check this first part now. So how do we determine that the target machine is live or not? So if you have access, you can log in and check the you can log in and check the IP address, private IP, and that is how we know. But what if you don't have access? So then if you are in the same network, we can do the host discovery technique, which is Nmap's PN option. We are going to do ping scan and disable port scan. That means we are not going to scan any ports, but determine whether how many machines are live or discover those machines. So this is what we are doing, discover live host using PN. So there are different options also, but we are doing the PN option now. Nmap, SN, then 0/224. So that is a CDIR notation. So 024 is actually like 0 to 255. So the host part of this IP address, private IP address, will be having 256 numbers, but 0 is blank. So it starts with 1 always. So 1 will be like the default gateway IP address, then 2, 3, 4 up to 255. So this is the interface name ETH0. Using Wireshark, we are going to monitor it later on to check the TCP full-way handshake and TCP three-way handshake, and also Nmap's two different types of scanning technique, which is like TCP ST will do the three-way handshake, and SS will do the not three-way handshake. Actually, it will half open scan. That is, it will actually sync ACK and reset the connection. So these two, after discovering the live host and the IP address, we are going to actually do the network scanning. So in this subnet, we have only one machine. Otherwise, maybe like in this subnet, many machines joins. So the DHCP server, which is dynamic host configuration protocol, so it will assign IP addresses as and when. So imagine if this is a Wi-Fi network, your home Wi-Fi network, and any devices that join using like a smart, like a Wi-Fi or IoT device, or like a mobile phone and other PCs and laptop. So all will be assigned the IP address, private IP address, and that will be by DHCP server, right? So if you want to determine how many devices are there in this network, so you can do this as an option of Nmap, which is discover, like ping scan. It will actually ping all the hosts, and all the hosts that will respond to the ping, that is how the Nmap is going to determine whether the host is up or down. So this is a host discovery technique, and we are not doing any port scanning. So if I press enter here, so because here only in this network I have two machines, like one is Kali Linux and the other one is Metasploitable 2, and I already know this IP 192.168.57.4, right? So it is actually taking time now, and you can see I was able to determine a few IP addresses. So one is like 21 is the IP of Kali Linux, and also was able to determine 57.4. So here you can see this is a 57.4 is the IP of this machine, 57.4, and also was able to find the same its own IP, Kali Linux as 57.21. This is 57.21. And then we found the default gateway 57.1, and 2 is also it's showing, but I don't know why. But sometimes it might give you some false positive. But mainly after you identify all the devices in the network, then that is how actually you identify the IP and live host in a network. So that is one objective of network scanning. So here we discovered the live host and the IP address. Now next we are going to determine the open ports of this particular. So how do we find? So you can actually, if there are so many machines, then you can actually scan one by one. But as we know that our target's IP is 57.4, and this is how actually we found. So this is 57.4, and now we are going to scan that. And in the Wireshark, in the background actually, we are going to filter the traffic, and we want ETH0 here because this is also ETH0, our interface. We are in this interface. It can be WLAN 0 also if it is wireless network, but it is ETH0 because it's like Ethernet, like assuming it's a virtual environment, and it is assuming it's like connected via Ethernet cable. So now we're going to start capturing this traffic in this interface, but we don't want so many traffic in this network. So specifically, we'll do IP address and filter out, and only want to capture the particular this traffic will be there. But for now, like we are not going to apply any display filters, but what we are going to do is do a simple network scan. So, and so here, I'm actually trying to scan mainly the ASCII option. That is, it will do a full connect scan and determine whether port 21 is open or not. So how Nmap will determine? So Nmap is first going to send a synchronization packet to 57.4 and say, hey, are you available at port 21? That is a synchronization packet. And then this machine, which is metasploitable 2, is going to respond back to Nmap that, yes, I'm available at port 21, let's connect. So this machine will send a synchronization and acknowledgement packet to Nmap. But because this is TCP full connect scan, so three-way handshake will be there actually. So Nmap will let the three-way handshake complete. So again, Nmap will send the acknowledgement that, yeah, I got your sync ag that you're open at port 21. So that is how actually Nmap is going to determine whether a particular port is open at the target. So now if I press enter, and it will actually scan. I'm taking time. Yeah, so you can see TCP port 21, which is FTP service, is open. So Nmap was able to determine, but what happened in the background, let's check. So you can see that the background, you'll be able to see that actually what happened. So Nmap started with, so you can see 57.21 is the IP address of Kali Linux, and 57.4 is the IP address of the victim machine, which is metasploitable 2. So first the packet was via at port 21, it sent a synchronization flag, this one. So it says, hi, metasploitable, are you available at this port 21? So that was a synchronization flag. Then you can see that from metasploitable machine 57.4, there is a synchronization and acknowledgement flag, which is the second. So it says, it sends from the source address is metasploitable to 57.4 and destination address is the Kali Linux IP address 57.21 via TCP. It says like, yes, port 21 is responding that I'm available, let's connect. So that is a synchronization and acknowledgement flag that you are getting. Then because I use the ST option, so that is why Nmap is again giving an acknowledgement that yes, I received your acknowledgement that you're open. So let's start the connection. But because here we don't have anything to share or establish a connection, so that is why Nmap again immediately reset the connection with a reset flag, reset and acknowledgement. So after the three-way handshake, Nmap was able to determine the port 21 is open because server responded with a synchronization acknowledgement packet, and that we can see here in this part. So this is what exactly happened, and that is how actually Nmap was able to determine that in that machine port 21 is open. But this is actually directly we are finding. So what if there is a security control or some firewall? So how do you check? So there we have some ideas actually. We send some acknowledgement flag or sometimes, but usually if it is blocking your ping request, then there is no way you will be able to determine whether the port is open or closed. But of course, if there is a firewall, we can guess whether the port is open or closed. That we are going to see later in the next upcoming classes. But here, one more important thing is like once you find the port is open, you can also determine the version of the service of this FTP. But let's stop this scan and also start again, continue saving. And this time we want to actually use the SS option. So in this SS option, what is this like? Earlier we did the ST option, which is the connect scan. So that is why we were able to see the three-way handshake. Now, if we send the SS, which is this one, so this will actually do the TCP sync scan, and instead of letting the full three-way handshake happen, it will sync act once he responds. I mean, once he get the response from the target or the victim that the port is open, so victim will respond with a synchronization and acknowledgement. So that is how it determines, and it will reset the connection. So now next we are going to scan with this as option, that is half open scan or sync scan. So once it is done, we are going to inspect the packet again here. So as you can see, the scan is done. Again, we were able to same determine that port 21 is open. This is FTP port 21 open. So using the SS option. So now what happened was, so Nmap sent this is the Kali Linux IP address 57.21. Send a synchronization packet to the metasploitable machine with 57.4 IP. And it says sync, are you open at port 21? And let's connect. So that is the synchronization packet. And once the victim, which is the metasploitable 2 machine 57.4, responded back to Kali Linux 57.21 with the synchronization and acknowledgement that yes, I'm available at port 21, let's connect. So because I used the SS option, so now Nmap didn't send any acknowledgement. So next step was Nmap, what Nmap did was like a reset the connection. So it reset the connection. So that is why it's called sync scan or half open scan. So here is like, this is the difference between these two scan. And in UDP, like it's unreliable. And in TCP, we have a three-way handshake and the data gets transmitted after that thing, actually, three-way handshake. So now if you find that, yeah, the port FTP is open, so we can do one more thing, like that is the version detection. So that is also very important. So version detection is giving the hyphen small s or lowercase s and capital V will probe to determine the service version. So this service FTP's version will be able to determine, which is actually very important sometimes to find whether any vulnerabilities are present on those version of those services. And then we have some script scans that we're going to see, and operating system discovery, and also firewall evasion techniques, like if it is behind some firewall or some security control, how do you actually try to evade? Mostly if it is a weakly configured firewall, then you will be able to use these different techniques. But now let's determine. I hope it is clear. So next we're going to determine the SV option. If I give the SV option, then I'm going to actually stop and again to make it tidy, actually again recapture the traffic to understand what will happen in the background. So now we are actually again trying to scan the same, like a half open scan. It will not do the three-way handshake, proper three-way handshake by sending an acknowledgement. Instead, it will give us, Nmap will send a reset packet. So now we were able to determine, like previously, like 21 port FTP open, but here you can see one more column. And here I was able to determine the version of the FTP, which is VS FTP. Now, if you search this, because we are in pre-attack, in the previous diagram, I shown you that in pre-attack, we start with the footprinting and reconnaissance and network scanning, and then we do enumeration and vulnerability analysis. After we find the security gap or the entry point, then we start with the attack phase, where we will try to gain access for the initial intrusion, and then privilege escalation, and all those steps that will be in the next slide. So first, we were able to determine the open and the version this time. So once we determine the version, again, it's the same thing happened here. Mostly sync ACK and then reset. And also it did some other things like here to do the version detection. But mainly the same, like sync ACK and then reset. Here. Sync ACK and then reset the connection. Then there are different acknowledgement that you can ignore for now. So mainly it was also half open scan, but because we use the SV option, we're able to determine that this version. And after you determine some version, you can do vulnerability research. For example, you can open Google and simply search for that version. And if you search, then you will find that there is a backdoor command execution at this particular old version of FTP. And if you go to CVE, Maitre CVE, so here too you will find different exploits in exploit DB and in Maitre CVE. So here, if you search for that version, so you will find that it is having some. So there is a CVE Common Vulnerability Exposure 2011 at this VS FTPD 2.3.4. And if you search and try to find what it is all about, so it is actually a vulnerability that if you have this version, then it contains a backdoor opens a shell at port 6200 TCP. So if we have this version, then attackers can actually identify this, and they can actually gain unauthorized access using a backdoor, which is there due to this vulnerability. And to exploit the backdoor and gain unauthorized access to that FTP at this port 6200, we have different exploits. So if you search, so this is an exploit. It is written in Python 3. And if you use this code, you'll be able to connect to that server remotely. And that is the command execution vulnerability. I will demonstrate this also later on. But now we are not going to attack, but this is what actually we are finding. So the scenarios can be endless. There can be n number of different possibilities, but the motive or the main objective of network scanning is to discover live hosts that we found actually using ping scan, no port scan. And after you determine the live host and the IP address, you find open ports. So in open ports, you have different techniques like TCP and sync scan technique. That is how open scan. And we discuss about TCP and UDP. And then we also discovered about the version detection. So discovered vulnerabilities in live host that we discovered after determining the version of the FTP. And when we did a Google search, so we're able to actually find that that version is vulnerable. So now when you are doing a ethical hacking, you can think in that point of view actually. So during ethical hacking in the security research, it's not always you will find a lot of vulnerabilities, but you have to find like this. You have to do footprinting and do network scanning. And if you find some versions that are vulnerable, then again, we are going to do the PT, which is penetration testing, that is system hacking in the next few after 2 modules actually. But through network scanning also, we can discover the services that are running. Here we found FTP, but your situation, and according to that situation, whenever you're performing security assessment, it can be so many different types. Maybe you find like SSH, or you find telnet open and the version is vulnerable maybe. So here in this case, FTP version was vulnerable. It might not be vulnerable also. So then you discover vulnerabilities in the live host we found, and you discover services running we found. System architecture, and we'll discuss about operating system now. So how do you find the operating system? So there is an option here. This one, enable operating system detection. So it's very simple. Just you have to add this option -O, or else we will discuss about script actually. In script, there is a condition. We can use the SMB operating system discovery script. So first, what we have to do is like, I will walk you through NSC script. Dot NSC and we grep with OS person. Yes. So you will see in this area of Kali Linux or Parrot Security, you will find so many NSE scripts. That is the Nmap scripting engine, and it will enhance the capability of Nmap search. So specific vulnerability or specific task, there are different scripts actually. You can also design your own script. And this is actually located in this particular drive. So what you have to do is like change your directory. Right now we are in this directory, home and Kali. So you have to change your directory. And you'll find all the scripts here in this directory. So we are now in user share nmap scripts. And inside you can find so many different scripts, but we will be focusing mainly on a few scripts. Like the OS discovery script. So now we are going to actually do the SMB OS discovery script. And how, so for that you have to actually find that the target machine's SMB server message block, which port is actually 443 and 139. Sometimes NetBIOS over SMB, older version. And for Linux, it's Samba, like SMB is for file sharing. So you have to check whether in our machine, particular port 139 and 4.3, these two ports are open only. Now we are going to
Wait, you mean 445?
445, yes, correct. So now we are going to determine, and of course, if it is open, then we can use that script. And there is a good script actually that will make us proper discovery of operating system. So operating system discovery is actually known as banner grabbing, operating system banner grabbing. So if we now we have this ports open, right? So now what we can do is like the same scan. Can do the scan. The script name, or you can do a script equal to and then assembly OS discovery without .nsc. Also, it will work. So it will take some time, and then it will determine the operating system. And you can see it was able to first, it did the open ports. There are so many open ports because this particular metasploitable machine is for cybersecurity students, or to create a test bed in a virtual environment, and you can attack this system without breaking anything, breaking any law. So we can test different tools. So that is why it's intentionally vulnerable, and so many open ports here you can see. But the main thing is like the SMB host discovery script was able to identify that it's a operating system Samba. So this was about operating system discovery. But also you can use the same that we saw, hyphen capital. So you can see this one like in here. So enable operating system detection. But one thing you can also do, which is in the miscellaneous part, you can see the capital A. So if you use this, then enable operating system detection. It will also include version detection, and it will also run some default scripts actually. So default script, or not all the script that we saw in that directory folder, and it will do the trace route. So what all default scripts it may run? So there is another command that, for example, if you use hyphen capital small s, lowercase s, and capital C, it is also do the default like script. Then we use some script now, like OS discovery script, but default script also you can try and scan using that aggressive scan, like capital A and
Can you show me the command that you ran with the script again?
yes,
It
yes.
was two commands ago.
Okay, so here you will be able to see it was able to determine, but detection there is a it's Linux actually. So this is the one command. The another command was the
Yeah,
script
that
command.
one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So the same thing in GenMap also you can be able to find. Like if you maybe you want to create a new profile here, new profile, or edit an existing profile. So you can go to here in scripting. In scripting, you'll find all those scripts actually. So maybe like we use the OS discovery script.
If I can't find the like if I install Metasploitable like I already did and run it on a virtual machine, could I
Mhm.
use another laptop to connect to that virtual machine or no? Would it be on my network or no since it's virtual?
Yeah, for this particular, we use a host only adapter. So here actually it was a host
Okay,
only.
host only, yeah.
Yeah. If you use
Okay.
bridge, then it will be considered as in the same range of your, for example, if you were using Wi-Fi and you're using bridge, it will be considered as a different machine that is joining in your Wi-Fi network. So bridge adapter. But if you use a
Okay.
NAT, then it will be like your private IP address will be exposed publicly. I mean, not publicly, but this private address using this, actually you can have internet access, and also you can scan outside in a wide area network. Also, you can connect to different scan. But if you
Okay.
wish, like in your setup, if you want another device and you want to scan that device, another PC or laptop, then you can. But for that, you need to have a either host only or a net network.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like if I do put that on my network and somebody just so
Yes,
happens to try to target me, my whole house becomes vulnerable.
Yes, correct. So in that case, like that is why it's not advisable, because you never know, like somebody's ever scanning, and maybe they
Right,
come across and it will be like open and the system will be vulnerable and the entire network will be vulnerable. So many like vulnerabilities are there in this machine.
right. Okay, thank you.
So we did this actually in today. Network scanning is almost complete, but we have some concepts that if you are already familiar, that OSI model and TCP/IP model. So in OSI model, like it is actually conceptual model, and mostly TCP/IP is used actually. So in OSI model, the data there is a seven model actually. I mean seven layers: physical layer, data link layer, network, transport, session, presentation, and application. So, for example, there are two devices that want to communicate. If they want to communicate with each other, then this one is one device, and this one is another device.
I can't hear you anymore. You're going on.
Okay. So yeah, if these two devices wants to communicate with each other, maybe like sending an email. So if this device sends an email, so this email will be in the application layer first, and then it will go from the top to bottom, and it will go to the presentation layer, session layer, and it will go to data link layer, and then to physical link layer. So physical is actually that ports, or you can see where Ethernet cables we can insert, or Wi-Fi card is there. So the data will become bits, actually binary, electric pulses, that email will become. Then it will reach the destination, and in destination again it will go from bottom to top, like from physical layer it will reach to it will reach the physical layer as electric pulse or binary zeros and ones, and from physical it will again reach top. It will go to data link, network, transportation, session, application, and presentation and application. In application it will again become that where you can read the email actually as an application or visually. So that is how, or is a conceptual model for communication. It's called OSI model. And then you can do your research. Again, we have, after OSI model, we have a TCP IP model, which is again narrowed down, and it is nowadays it is used actually in and in TCP and IP model. This is actually the conversion you can see. They have it is commonly used real world networking and is similar to many ways as OSI model. In OSI model, we have seven layers: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. And in TCP/IP, it is like we have one, two, three, four layers. So application, presentation, session as application layer, and transportation is transport layer, and network is now internet layer for TCP/IP, and data link and physical layer is actually network interface. Then the same thing like TCP/IP in Wireshark, you can observe these actually. So how we have three different layers. Oh, sorry, four. So this model and or OSI model is responsible for facilitating communication between devices over a network. So I will share this slide. Actually, I have already shared it in Zoom. So from there you can or take note also, like from there.
Got you.
Then TCP, we have this flag communication we saw earlier, right? So when we did the full open scan, so there was like a acknowledgement. Then we send synchronization flag, and in a TCP header there are different information. That is how actually a TCP communication is reliable, and the data is never lost. Actually, there will be retransmission if some packets are lost from destination to from source to destination. So in a flag, TCP communication flag, or you can see this is the packet header. Packet is a smallest form of data. So in one packet of data in TCP, there will be information like a source port, where it originated from, which port, FTP or other port, then destination port where it needs to go. There will be some sequence number, acknowledgement numbers, then different flags like urgent flag, push flag, finish flag, reset flag. So this is the inner working, how actually data is exchanged. So this concept is sufficient. Like you need not need to go deeper. But if you're a networking student or CCNA, then it's sometimes required. But for ethical hacking, in order to understand network scanning, all you have to know is like that I explained how actually we can do TCP full connect scan. In TCP three-way handshake using ST option and SS. And in the Wireshark, you were able to see like, in half open scan, the connection is reset before the three-way handshake is established. So that is the thing. And you can read about the TCP header here. Actually, TCP header, you can see source port, what is source port, what is destination port, what is sequence number, and acknowledgement number. So this field contains the next expected sequence number that the receiver is waiting, acknowledging all previous byte. So this is actually how it will be sent from source to destination, so that every piece of information is sent and nothing is lost during transmission. So that is why TCP is reliable, and there are different flags you can read about, and some things like that. I think they won't extend much, like, but from the next class onwards, as we agreed, like we will start 1.5 hour, right, instead of 2 hours today,
Yeah.
because we started late. But this is actually, now you need to practice. So
Okay.
if you want to practice, like how it's like very simple. How do you, like, you can check by opening Wireshark and what is happening in the background, and you can also check the help menu. Like for example, man and map is there. So
Okay. So I can so this metasploitable machine that I have, I can try to exploit it.
yes, but not
Do
exploit now, but just
not
networks
exploit, but recon.
recon. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So
Cool.
we are having this actually. One. Yeah, so I will just walk you through the slide before we end. So here we discuss about today network scanning only, and the main objective, and we need to scan beyond IDS IPS also. That is also left actually, and the countermeasures. So once you do the pre-attack and identify all these things, so the uh, countermeasure would be like what? So we were able to find the port 21 is open and the version was also vulnerable. And when we search in internet, we're able to find that particular version is having exploit, which is publicly can be used by anyone. Download it and simply hack it, and they will get unauthorized access. So how do we block it? So we have one information that it will connect at port 6200. So this is the port that we need to actually monitor and block it. And if FTP, file transfer protocol, is not required, we can disable the service, or we can actually implement some incoming firewall rule actually that we are going to do in the next class. So that is how we're going to countermeasure it, or else you can upgrade the version of FTP 2.3.4 to the latest version. So that is also will mitigate the risk. So that is also important. After we do the network scanning, we have to give countermeasures, but After everything, later on you can, but as of now, we are doing the pre-attack, but you can also attack and see. So that I can also demonstrate. So once you determine a vulnerability, and luckily, if you find publicly available exploits from exploit websites like exploit DB, so it's like easy. And if you have a lucky enough, like if you have a ready-made Metasploit module, I mean Metasploit framework module, then again your job is even easier. All you have to do is select few options and uh, then click on exploit, and you'll get the unauthorized access to that machine. So usually we did this today, network scanning, and got the objective. And we discuss about different TCP communication flags. And we also saw how TCP three-way handshake happens. So synchronization, acknowledgement, and then sync act, and then reset is to reset a connection, and finish flag will be sent when there will be no further transmission. And TCP header is like this. You can read about TCP header in the notes in the link I have shared. This is the three-way handshake. Termination also, there is a handshake. So for example, three-way handshake, Bill and Sheila wants to connect. So three-way handshake, I would like to talk to you, Sheila, on port 21. Are you open? So that is a sync with sequence number 10. Then there will be a sync acknowledgement, and then there will be acknowledgement number and some sequence number. So usually sync act, and acknowledgement. And after the transmission is over, there will be a finish flag, then acknowledgement that Bill sent a fin flag to Sheila. Sheila will acknowledge that I received the fin flag. Let's close the connection, and Bill will again send a finish flag, and it will be acknowledged by Sheila that yeah, I also received your finish flag. So now we can close the connection. So then the connection will be closed. So this is a three-way handshake, and this will happen in only TCP protocol, transmission control protocol. UDP, it doesn't happen. Like the data will be sent like any sequence, even if it gets lost. Then we discuss about host discovery technique. Even though there are so many, but we use the ping sweep method where we pinged every host, and wherever we got the response, we use the SN option. You can use the PS also along with it. So PS, and this you can see in the help menu. So we can actually send some ICMP or ICMP or ARP related flags actually. So you can do ICMP ping scan using PE option, SN and PE. And if you do ARP, like sometimes ICMP will be blocked by some control. So in that case, ICMP will not work. But how do you determine a host that is alive? So you can use the PR option. Here it will send the ARP ping request. And if you want a UDP, then you can do PU. And there are some other options as well, so that you can actually play around and understand. So mainly that is the main thing. And then again, you have the AI now. So using the artificial intelligence, in the next class, I can also show you how to configure the Shell GPT. Here, we are actually using Shell GPT, but you can use TGPT as well, Terminal GPT. So in Shell GPT, you can give different prompts like uh, Shell GPT, and then chat will remember all the prompts that you will give. Then maybe the name is given as scan. So this will be stored as scan in the database. So mainly Shell GPT, HGPT, hyphen S, or single hyphen and S, or like a hyphen shell. So that will be in the help menu. And you give a prompt that scan the network 10.10.1./24 for active host, and place only the IP address into the file. So now it is very easy. Like you don't have to worry because you're using AI. There is no restriction, right? So efficiency will increase. You can do many things actually, very advanced stuff. You can even take projects, even if you know like a better little much. If you have like little concept and you're confident, you can use the AI and even take projects like VAPT projects, basic things like network scanning or uh, things using AI. That means I wanted to show, yeah, because you will feel confident, like even if you don't know, like you know, like what to, because you know the basic things. So you will give a prompt and you will get the command.
Yeah.
Then we have we discuss about different scanning techniques. So different scanning techniques are there, and we are going to discuss few more in the upcoming. I think we won't extend much today. You can practice like whatever was done. Like if you're comfortable, then because hands-on is the main. Like you will get the idea, you are confident, you know. But if you practice, it will be more convenient and you will feel good. Uh, but if you already have done it, like then still you can. Otherwise, you can otherwise skip also. But you can definitely scan some websites like certifiedhacker.com to identify using different scanning technique. Like that is the live website. If you don't want to scan in a virtual lab environment, that also you can scan certifiedhacker.com. We'll use the default script as well. Default script because I have used the hyphen capital A option. So it will use some discover and because I use the small v option verbose, so it will print all the attempts that is now going on. And it is actually telling that already discovered so many ports, but yet we will get a final result. But if you don't specify the V option, it won't show anything. It will just wait and it will give you the result. Taking longer actually. Anyway, so yeah, again initiating NSC, which is Nmap scripting engine. Oh, it's like really taking long. But you can try. Uh, simple. So as you can see that we use a default script also and was able to identify the version as well as because of default script was able to identify a few other things that you will be interested in and also do your research and identify if you can find some vulnerabilities as well. And then here you will find all the services like this and topology. So here you will find a topology also. Trace route, all the hops you can see. And here you can see some information related to like the topology, host details. So it will determine it's a Linux operating system as well. You can see the Linux symbol. If it's Windows, it will say like it's a Windows. Yeah, so that is about it actually. I hope there should not be any question. You can just try practicing in your free time, and we are going to continue like on Monday, like because you said Friday won't be available.
Right. Yes, on Monday.
Yeah, actually do
Okay. Thank you so much.
scans. Yeah, you're welcome. Mr.
All right. Have a good one.